Welcome to the Help Her Be Brave podcast show, where we have great ideas on how you can help save lives. I'm Amy Ford.
And I'm Jessica Russo.
And today we're going to be talking to Lauren Banthem, one of our friends, and she is Mrs. United States. And This is very unique guest because she's amazing. She has 6 kids, like
farm animals,
doing all the things, but she is passionate about using her platform to help embrace grace, which we're so thankful for. And just she has great stories about what God did in and through her heart along the way and what she learned in herself. And I just think if anyone's listening, don't discredit, she's someone that's done pageants. No,
she's a beauty queen.
Yeah, she's a beauty queen. I'm not going to do pageants. Well, I'm praying that this will spark ideas on how you can use your platform. And if you're like, well, I don't really have a platform. Yes, you do. You have a voice. So that's your platform. And it can be used in many different ways. And so she found a unique niche to be able to get the word out about Embrace Grace. And so we hope that you will be inspired by that and maybe give you some ideas as well. So let's bring her on. Hey, Lauren, thank you so much for being with us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show today.
Yeah, well, we just love having you around the office. You come by and pick up all the stuff, and you're just going out all over the state and sharing about Embrace Grace, which we are so thankful for. And we've had people connect to us because they heard about us through you in some ways. And so we're just so thankful that you're using your voice in a very unique way. And we're just so amazed by you. Like the fact that you have so many kids and you look so
you're a powerhouse
amazing,
girl.
And you're homeschooling and all the things,
like livestock or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
You kind of are doing it all. And so we're really impressed. But tell us a little bit. I know, it kind of started as being a single mom. Tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are now.
So I found myself 19 years ago standing in my best friend's bathroom, staring at a little bitty stick, counting the minutes that seemed like hours, which I know many of us have. And then there they were, 2 little bitty pink lines that changed the course of my life forever. And as I stood there waiting, I just really had a peace come over me that I had never really experienced before, that it would be okay. I didn't know what that looked like, but I had a piece of it'll be okay. And over the next 9 months, the Lord just lavished me in a way that I had never experienced before. Not because he wasn't there and not because he wasn't trying, but because up to that point, I had never let him. I had held him at an arm's distance. I knew him. I was raised in the church. I watched other people walk closely with the Lord, but I didn't know him personally like I knew I should. And so over the next several months, he just connected me with so many amazing people that honestly could have turned their back on me. My parents, they could have said, I'm sorry. You knew what you were getting into. We're not going to give you any support. You're on your own. See you later. Because at that time as well, I had just finished cosmetology school and was going into my career. And so they could have easily turned their back on me, but instead they didn't. They unconditionally loved me and helped me find support through a church at the time that's still around today. And I can't say enough wonderful things about them. They loved on me like no one had loved on me before. They didn't care that I was unwed. They didn't care that I carried around this guilt and shame, because they looked at me and they saw potential. They saw a girl that needed to feel loved and to be poured into. And they took the time to do that, which really meant a lot to me, because then I was able, through such generosity of mentoring, financially people helped me. I got back into church and other mentor programs. It made such an impact on my life that I was able to make the best decision for my son and myself. He is now 19 and is thriving, and I couldn't be more proud of who he is. And it just really meant a lot to me during those months, and honestly, even the first, several years, because then after that, I got introduced to the single parent group at Gateway Church here in Southlake, and through their program as well, just being able to be poured into week after week, and someone genuinely wanting my success really meant a lot to me. And it helped me find my footing. It helped me find who I was. It helped me have the courage to keep going when potentially I could have been devastated, and I could have, just fallen down and gone and spiraled down a direction that wouldn't have been healthy. But instead, I was placed on a path of success. And so that's really kind of what started my journey of parenting. So that's a little bit of my story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, keep going, because then you end up meeting your husband and having a lot more kids,
A couple of more.
which are all so beautiful. And sometimes you bring them up to the office and they look like all mini yous. They're so cute.
Thank you. Yes, we did. We ended up meeting a few years later, and that's just another amazing God story in itself, because as single moms, we go through our minds of, how am I going to tell somebody that I'm a single parent? And when do I introduce my child to them? How does that interaction work? Because I never wanted my future spouse, or someone that I was dating, let's say that, to get attached to my son and then it not work out, but they felt like they couldn't leave, or they were stuck because they didn't want to hurt Braden, and vice versa. I didn't want him to see if I started dating, like, why does mommy keep having these, boyfriends, which come in and out, which thank the Lord I didn't. I only have one. And so it just organically worked out that he and I met. Let me back up just for a second. I'll say this. People used to tease me because I never went out on dates, because I was extremely when most of them know, when you're like that, you are so vulnerable that at least me, I became reclusive and selective on who I was going to go on a date with, because I didn't want to waste my time. I had so much going on my plate as far as trying to get my life in order so that I could be the best, eventually wife to someone, employee and mother, that it didn't take, my focus wasn't on dating per se. And so I kind of come to the Lord and was like, you're going to literally have to just put him in my lap. And figuratively speaking, that really almost happened, because we met each other at DFW airport boarding a plane and sat next to each other, and the rest is history after that.
Wow. That's so awesome.
So I think that goes to show, just with the Bible verse, it says, in his mind, a man plans his course, but the Lord orders his steps. And that in my mind, I had planned what my life would look like. In my mind, I'd planned all these things. And he then, behind the scenes, before I ever met my husband, before I ever met my future mother-in-law, before I met any of that, he had been working on their hearts behind the scenes. And I didn't know it. For instance, my son was in one of my mother-in-law's Sunday school class, and she would seek after this little boy. And just
Stop.
the Lord
Goodness.
cares and tenders about the tiniest little things like that behind the scenes before we ever even know it. So it is my, something that I'm passionate about, is, which we all are, I believe, is when you're really listening and on the course with the Lord, you don't have to be frantic of, oh my gosh, I need to think about this. Oh my goodness, I need to think about this. I never thought about my in-laws. How would they take a son, a grandson? And I never thought about certain dynamics of those things. But it goes to show, because I was so focused on the Lord and seeking his heart for myself, that he worked out all the details in the process. And I didn't have to worry about that. I didn't have to worry about, where my identity was, or where his security would be, because I was so focused on what I knew the Lord had put in my heart, that he just works out all the little bitty things that we never even think about. And so sometimes I think we get so caught up in the details and the little bitty things, and am I praying enough? Am I doing enough? And it becomes works-based, that we forget that if we just rest in the Father's love and we really fervently seek after him, and we have good counsel surrounded with us and around us, that nothing but good can come from it.
That's so true.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, and it's only really when you reflect back on all the things, when you start realizing, during the time you just kept waiting and waiting and waiting for God to move, especially with bringing your future husband, like he was behind the scenes and doing things. And like you said, preparing his heart, preparing your heart for that moment for y'all to, for your lives to collide. And so even when we think he's not doing anything, he is always doing something.
Yeah.
And that's so good. And so, okay, so you have 6 kids, right?
Yes.
Yes. So
we
6
do have
kids,
6 kids.
which is amazing.
Our
You are a
oldest is-
shero.
Yeah. No, I think the Lord knew that as my husband and I, we never set out to have 6 kids. Let me say that. We really only had talked about maybe having 2 or 3. But I think we love it now. And like, I couldn't imagine my last daughter and our kids even constantly still like, Mom and Dad, like, when are we going to have some more? And I'm like,
oh my God.
unless you're a husband or wife someday, I hope they know what they're getting into. But I think if I had stopped to catch my breath, the Lord, I would have been like, no, we're not having any more. But I'm so glad that we did it, because they have been such a blessing and a joy to our lives, and they have intentionally made me slow down and realize the little things in life, and really scale back on what I thought, like I said earlier, what I thought I wanted, and actually given me direction on what I actually need. And it has been such a unique experience to walk through with them through homeschooling, through their endeavors that now they're doing. And it's so fun for them to be able to watch, like, mommy, like, go to, which we'll touch on in a second, pageantry, and get to go to these events where I get to speak on my platform, which is Embrace Grace and another nonprofit, as well as just passions in life, and really wanting a woman to be completely successful in her own life. And it's such a huge passion, and they get to see that, and it is so encouraging, because we are a family, we're a unit, so we support each other and everyone in what they're doing, and it's just a unique experience for us.
Yeah. And I love to, like, so you just mentioned the pageantry. So you're Mrs. United States, and even your newest baby, like, is a little baby, right? Like less than 1.
She just turned 1.
She just turned 1. So you got a 1-year-old, 6 kids, and then you are Mrs. United States, which is totally amazing to me. And what's so awesome too is the times that I have spent time with you. Or I don't know that's awesome. It's just kind of unique, but that, whenever I saw pictures of you, I pictured you to be like a super girly girl, and like into all, you definitely, the ball gown and all that, you definitely come across as girly girl, and you're good at being a girly girl, but really you're kind of not. Like, you're kind of more just down to earth and easy to talk to. Sometimes you come up, you don't have makeup on, you're just hanging out and like super real, but when it's time to get dressed up, you do it right.
You nail it, girl.
You nail it. And I love that. So I would think that you're kind of a little bit different than maybe some of the other pageant girls. I had a family member that was in pageants for a while, and it seemed like they were very much, not all, but a lot were very, very girly, which there's nothing wrong with being girly. It's just that,
you're not the typical. You're unique and amazing.
Yeah, for sure. So what made you even want to get into the pageant world? What inspired you to get involved?
What if we lived in a world where every woman with an unplanned pregnancy always felt empowered to choose life for her unborn baby? Get your copy of Help Her Be Brave, a book full of ways on how you can discover your place in the pro-life movement. With over 300 genius ideas on how you can put your passion into action. Order your book or learn more about Help Her Be Brave initiative at www.helpherbebrave.com.
Quick story, I didn't. I didn't grow up watching. I didn't grow up watching pageants. I think I went to one. Like you mentioned, I wasn't a super girly girl. Truth be told, right now, only the top half of me is ready. The bottom half is not, so that I can go back outside and finish gardening. But it definitely is a fun outlet. Like, I'm realizing more about myself, like, oh, maybe I do like girly things. Maybe I do like these things. And it's a lot of fun. And there is a stigma with what a pageant girl is. And I had that, like, in my mind. I was like, I don't want to go compete with these girls. They're going to be, harsh. And I know who I am. Like, why do I want to go compete? I'm a mom, like, blah, 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 blah. And the Lord just really wouldn't get it off my heart. And how it started is every year we challenge our kids to learn a new trade, to really work on it, maybe a behavior that they're struggling with, learn something, just really kind of stretch themselves so that they have to really press in and hear the Lord in that particular area. And my husband and I do the same thing. So long story short, the Lord one year put on my heart the word beauty, and I didn't know what that meant. Fast forward, I ended up running into a woman that was a pageant coach, and I was like, for married women? What? Why? Why would you do that? Like, who has time? But I did, and so I talked with her, and I walked through the process, and so that's how it got started, is me just really listening to the Lord. The first experience wasn't the best experience for me personally. The pageant was great, but it really brought out a lot of insecurities in myself that I thought I didn't have, and it has just been such a refining experience for me to be able to be like, maybe there were words spoken over me that I didn't realize that I had taken on as my person, and being able to renounce those, like, I am confident and I am beautiful, and it's okay to feel those ways, and it is okay to be loud, and it is okay to be like strong, whereas before I didn't feel that way. And so it has just opened up so many doors, getting to meet some really, really incredible women who are making a huge difference in society and in their communities with their platforms. And it has opened up so many doors for myself, getting to get to go now and speak for Embrace Grace. So many women know somebody that is pregnant and single, or they haven't heard of the organization, and they think it's so amazing because they either, like I said, themselves know someone personally that's gone through that they wish they had known, and so they want to know for future, or they currently know somebody. And so I've been able to just really help make connections there, hoping to make a difference, because like myself, had I not had that mentorship years ago, I wouldn't probably be where I am right now. I wouldn't be able to be sitting here, and I wouldn't have that platform. And I want those same things for those girls, to know that they can go after and chase their dreams and chase what they're after, and they can make a huge difference. And their mistake really wasn't a mistake, that it was ordained plan, that maybe it wasn't in my plans, but it's in the Lord's plans, and He can make what seemed like, a bump in the road, something that actually pushes you in the direction that you needed to catapult in, maybe to make your life the best life you could.
Yeah, that's so good. And I know there may be listeners that are listening right now. They're like, okay, this is supposed to give me ideas on, and I'm for sure not going to do a pageant. And there may be people out there, and that's totally okay. But I think that this does create some new ideas, because Lauren found a kind of a niche to be able to share about Embrace Grace and tell her own story and how she had church support, and she wouldn't be where she is today if it weren't for that. And now she gets to go and inspire other churches to do the same for other single and pregnant moms. That's huge. And so it could be that whoever's listening just, we've had some people come up to the office and grab Embrace Grace materials and go to a church, sit in their church foyer and try to get a group started at their church. Or maybe it's something about your local pregnancy center that you want to share about, whether it's on your social media platforms or setting up a table like Lauren does, where you're actively giving out information, looking for little pro-life outlets or women's conferences, ministry conferences at your church. There's different ways to try to get other people to use their voice and other people to get involved in the movement. And it is like multiplication, whenever we do it. And so Lauren found just an avenue to be able to do that. But there are other ways that you can, even maybe wherever you work, maybe you can inspire your work to do like a favorite nonprofit day, and you want to go and share about pro-life, or maybe it's something in your community. There's different ways God will show you. But if anyone's listening right now, don't brush this aside if you think, oh well, this isn't something that applies to me, because it does. And how I love how she is using her story over and over again, and it even has helped with their confidence and to know her identity and her value in the Lord. And, even as women with lots of kids, it's still something that God is refining in us in different ways. And so that is just awesome. And we're just so proud of you. And we're so thankful that you represent Embrace Grace and you use your voice to help save lives. And we're just amazed. You're awesome. So how can people get connected to you? Like, how can they follow you on the social media things and all that?
Well, if you're on Instagram, my Instagram handle is just my last name, Banthem7. So you can follow me there for updates. That's primarily like my main social media outlet. It connects to Facebook, but that's not it. I'm actually in the stages of about to launch a blog for the year and just my life leading up to where we're at. Because like you touched on, we're on a farm and we're about to make some big changes and endeavors here that I think will be extremely comical for people to watch because I have never farmed before and we are getting animals and all sorts of things. And so I think it would be, if you need a hilarious outlet day to day, then you can pop over and watch that, as well as there's updates on things that I'm getting to do for my pageantry stuff that, you know, if that interests people. And like you said, I know that pageantry isn't for anyone. I did not get on here to go and do pageantry because it does take a unique type of woman to do that. But if anything else, I would just encourage, like you were saying, don't think anything is too big. Don't think anything is outside your wheelhouse that you can't do that. Because had someone told me years ago when I was 19 and pregnant that, hey, one day you're going to be standing on different platforms, you're just talking about Embrace Grace and where you came from and about being a single mom and just about motherhood in general, you're going to be doing that one day. I would be like, yeah, right. Like, have you met me? Like, no, I'm the girl in the back of the room that's like talking to one person. Like, no way. And I still am that girl. Like, that's my preference, one-on-one, small settings. But I also know that I've walked into my voice and allowed the Lord to use the open doors that are coming my way. So I say that to those out there listening, that whatever's been pricking your heart, don't ignore it. Don't ignore it anymore. Whether it's you've got social media following or even just 3 people or 4 people that are following you, you can make a difference in those few people's lives. I think people think that in order to make a difference, I have to know a lot of people or I have to be big or have all these connections, and you don't. It's in the small, intimate settings that really make the most difference. So like you were saying, whether it's social media outlets or going to your local church or having a small group at your home or something, there are so many ways to connect and love on women that it's just, I think, so important right now, especially when we already feel isolated in that type of situation.
So good. That's
You're
so
amazing,
true.
girl.
Yes. Thank you so much, Lauren, for being on today. I know everyone feels encouraged and inspired for sure. And we will talk to you soon. Thank you, girl.
Her story is so encouraging. And I really enjoyed how she pointed out that she got to dream. Like, just because she was a single mom didn't mean that all of her dreams had to go away. And how God even gave her new dreams, walking in obedience. And I just think it's really impactful when we use our story to help other people's be brave. And Lauren's story, I feel like, is an example that gives people in many different seasons, on top of, you know, choosing life, helping them be brave and being brave in new dreams, being brave as a mom with a bunch of kids and taking on farm animals and this homestead thing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so just if anyone's listening, I know people are listening, just be thinking about like how can you use your voice to help save lives, whether it's Embrace Grace, whether it's empowering single moms, whether it is helping a pregnancy center, a maternity home, maybe it's grants for college or for single moms that want to go to college. I mean, there's so many different ways, and hopefully if you've been tuning into this whole show over the past, this is now season 3, that you've gotten some ideas that will spur you to action. And so this is just a unique way that Lauren decided to do that, which we love. And so please share this with your friends. If you know anyone that you think that would want to hear this, share it on your social media pages. You can watch on our YouTube and you can also listen through Spotify. And iTunes, and please subscribe to all of them so that you won't miss any of our episodes. They come out weekly. And also check out helperbebrave.com. And one thing too, she had mentioned in this episode about starting a small group. One thought is that you could start a Help Her Be Brave book club. And with using my new book that just came out in January called Help Her Be Brave, Discover Your Place in the Pro-Life Movement. And we give you all the tools on how you can host your own book club. We give you discussion questions and social media graphics to share and template reminders to tell the people that are doing it with you, that you have class this next or group
Literally
this next
everything.
week. Everything that you need. And it's all at your fingertips. Once you just register on helperbebrave.com, you get all that you need to host a book club. You can do it virtually or you can do it in person, but please think about doing that, because I think that whenever you're in a group setting and you're really like brainstorming about ways to get involved, I think new ideas will come to the surface because it's in a group format.
And your friends can hold you accountable.
Yeah, true. And you're inviting more people to be involved in the movement, because if we all were involved, we could make abortion unthinkable. So pray about that. And check us out, helperbebrave.com. Thank you guys so much for watching this week, and we will see you next.